a simple formula that you can implement into your business to really understand how to gauge the level of rehab that a property needs, and then how to come up with a simple estimate on how much work a property is going to need so that you can go ahead and make an offer. Let's get into it. What's up, everybody? It's Jamel Gibbs, your family-oriented entrepreneur. Welcome to another video. So in this video, we're going to discuss a simple strategy that you can implement into your business in order to be able to justify how much work a property is going to potentially need. Now, this is not going to be an accurate number that you're looking for. You're simply just looking to get thrown in a ballpark so that you can make an offer that's going to make sense and make sure that a deal is going to be profitable on a property. There's 5 different levels of rehab that a property is going to need, at least in my business. Other people may operate their business completely different, but in my case, we use a 5-level approach when it comes to rehabbing properties. So level 1 is going to be a tear down. This is a property that is too far gone at this point. It doesn't make sense to rehab this type of property. So you'll be better off purchasing this property from a land aspect, using the land value as your starting point in order to be able to negotiate that type of deal. You're simply going to tear down a property and rebuild a property on top of it, new construction. Level 2 is extreme. Extreme is going to consist of structural and foundation work. So again, if you're in a property that has foundation issues, maybe a huge crack going down the base of the property, you're going to be at a level 2 rehab. Let's say that you open up the walls and there's rotten wood that needs to be taken care of, water damage, mold, things of that nature. We start tapping into a level 2, which is an extreme rehab because it's going to require more work. Level 3, you have your major rehab. And this is going to tap into your roof, your windows, your HVAC system, your plumbing, your electric, hot water heater, things of that nature would be more on the lines of a major rehab where you're going to implement new electric and things like that, new mechanicals, but you're not necessarily tapping into the foundation and structural aspect of the property. Level 4, your average rehab. So you don't necessarily have to do any of the mechanical work, but you do have to update the kitchen. You do have to update the bath. You do have to put new flooring, paint the walls and things like that. And then level 5, you have your carpet and paint. This is a light rehab. So how do you structure the numbers when it comes to estimating repairs based on the level of rehab that a property needs? Well, I use a square footage approach when I'm estimating repairs on properties. And this is how I'm able to make an offer sight unseen. For example, when I buy auction properties, I'm able to make an offer based on the square footage of the property, understanding that I'm probably going to have to do at least a major to an extreme level of work on these properties. So when I go into an auction property, I'm basing my numbers on either an extreme or major rehab. And then when I get in, sometimes I'm pleasantly surprised, sometimes I'm not. But as long as the property is not a tear down, I can make a justified offer and get relatively close with my numbers based on how much work a property is going to need. So let's take the square footage approach. How do we use the square footage approach in order to be able to justify a number when it comes to rehabbing a house? So let's just say that a property is 1,500 square feet or less, right? A light rehab will generally need right around $20,000 in work. An average rehab, you're tapping into $40,000 to $45,000 in work. A heavy rehab is going to need somewhere right around $80,000 in work. And then when you start tapping into extreme rehabs, you're talking about $100,000 or more in work. And then when it comes to tear downs, I mean, generally it'll cost you $15,000 to $20,000 to tear down a house, at least in my local market. This may differ based on where you live. So you need to find out how much it's going to cost for you to tear down a house where you're located, and you're going to use that number as the basis to make your offer on a property. Now, let's just say that the property is 1,500 square feet to 2,500 square feet. Generally, a light rehab in that instance is going to cost right around $30,000. An average rehab is going to cost $50,000 to $55,000, somewhere in that pocket. A heavy rehab, meaning a major rehab, can cost you upwards of $100,000 to $110,000. An extreme rehab is going to cost you $20,000 more than that, maybe $25,000 more than that. So about $130,000 to $140,000. And a teardown, obviously that number can be relatively similar to the 1,500 square foot home. Just might cost you another $5,000 or $10,000 to clean off the property. So again, this is something that you have to find out from a local contractor in your area. Now, let's just say a property is 2,500 to 3,500 square feet. And again, most newbie real estate investors aren't going this large on their initial rehabs. But let's just provide you with the numbers anyway. 2,500 to 3,500 square feet on a property. A light rehab might cost you somewhere in the neighborhood of $40,000. An average rehab might cost you $65,000. A heavy rehab might cost you $125,000. Now, an extreme rehab can be upwards of $150,000 or more on a rehab project of this magnitude. And a teardown, again, it might cost you another $5,000 or $10,000 based on the size of the property. When it comes to 3,500 square feet to 5,000 square feet, again, understanding that most beginners are not looking at this level of rehab as a beginner, you're probably going to be, for a light rehab, right around $50,000, average right around $70,000, heavy right around $175,000, and for an extreme, you might be somewhere in the neighborhood of 200 plus. So you want to keep these numbers in mind when you're estimating your repairs on these properties. Now, when you're talking about getting into larger homes, 5,500 square feet or more, a light rehab can cost you right around $70,000. An average rehab can cost you right around $125,000. A heavy rehab can cost you right around $200,000. And then an extreme rehab can cost you $250,000 or more. Just to be clear, a teardown can be a lot less than all of these numbers because all you're doing is tearing down a property. But then what is it going to cost you to rebuild the same type of house on that particular land? So these are numbers that you got to justify with a contractor based on the plans that you have and the size home that you're going to be building, et cetera, et cetera. That's a whole nother video for another day. If you guys want me to get into that a little bit more, let me know in the comment section. But let me recap this. You have 5 levels of rehab. You have a teardown, which is a level 1. You have an extreme rehab, which is a level 2. You have a major rehab, which is a level 3. You have an average rehab, which is a level 4. And then you have a light rehab, which is a level 5. And based on the square footage of the properties, you can be somewhere between $20,000 and $200,000 or more, $250,000 or more on these rehabs. So when you're making an offer on a property, based on the formula that you're using in order to make an offer, make sure you're subtracting the repair estimate based on our discussion from today in order to be able to justify an offer on a property. Now, if you're looking to get started in the fix and flip business, there's 2 ways that I can help you. I have a fix and flip mastery program that you can tap into. The link will be in the description box below. Or if you want a more hands-on approach, you can book an action call with one of my team members and they will see how we can help you in your real estate business. Again, the link will be in the description box. So again, we can help you through, number 1, an action call, or you can check out my fix and flip mastery program. Both links will be in the description box. And also, I'd like to invite you to join my Deal Pro community. It's a community of real estate investors who are looking to get started or who have some experience, and we're all in the community to help each other out. All 3 links will be in the description box below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to like it, subscribe, click the notification bell, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.